Hello and welcome back to India Awakening.
હું નરેન્દ્ર દામોદરદાસ મોદી ઈશ્વરના નામે સોગંદ લઉં છું.
With the 7th of October in 2001 came the most defining moment in Modi's political career. After the swearing in ceremony, Modi, in his inimitable style, concluded his address with the rallying call of Bharat Mata Ki Jai. Though this particular elevation in his political career was not through popular vote, he ran his first ever elections just months after his swearing in ceremony and won by a comfortable margin. Modi's appointment as the Chief Minister of Gujarat had left a bitter taste in many of his detractors who were determined on reversing his rise as a Hindu nationalist leader. They were all eager to put an end to his rising popularity. Modi had just begun to revel in his achievements and take over his newly assigned duties, knowing little that fate had destined for him a very turbulent and grueling journey ahead. It had been hardly a few months since Modi was sworn in as the Chief Minister when on the 25th of February, hundreds of pilgrims returning home from Ayodhya from the Ram Janmabhoomi boarded the Sabarmati Express which was bound for Ahmedabad. As the train arrived in Godhra on the 27th of February, a Muslim mob of around 2,000 people set the train on fire. Passengers within the coaches were burned to death, even as they pleaded for help and mercy. Of all the pilgrims aboard the coaches which were set on fire, not a single managed to escape. Allegedly, the miscreants had come armed with stones, sticks, and petrol soaked rags even before the train had arrived. Around 59 people, including 27 women and 10 innocent children, were torched and charred to death, almost all beyond recognition. It is to be noted that the Godhra station is surrounded by Muslim-dominated area on both sides, where non-Muslims are not allowed to enter even in broad daylight. All evidences pointed that the carnage was well orchestrated to terrorize the Hindus. Needless to say, Hindus were enraged by the monstrosity and barbarity with which the massacre had been executed. The inhuman and horrifying incident resulted in Hindus retaliating in a manner which unfolded as the most horrific of intercommunal riots, which started the very next day of Godra carnage, leaving at least 1,000 dead and more than a lakh homeless. There were reports of arson and loot on a massive scale and destroying of Muslim properties. This was followed by a relentless storm of attacks and accusations on Narendra Modi, from deliberately condoning the violence and total breakdown of law and order to being the real mastermind behind the riots. A thorough and direct investigation in Modi's role with 15 of his key ministers, MLAs, and bureaucrats was ordered. Responding to the constant vilification and the attempts to taint him a culprit, Modi called for an emergency cabinet meeting on July 19th, and that very day a resolution to dissolve the assembly was passed. Modi resigned from office 8 months ahead of schedule. The Election Commission of India decided on December 12, 2002 as the date for re-elections in Gujarat. The BJP won 127 of the 182 constituency seats, which was a clear and absolute majority. Gujarat had reinstated its faith in Modi. Modi's rivals resorted to all the tricks of the trade, from confining witnesses, digging up the graves of riot victims, filing false affidavits, and blackmailing. But Modi had made up his mind to meet the challenge head on. Never attempting to hesitate, delay, or falter, he stood committed to facing the scrutiny with utmost integrity. Thus began a legal battle which lasted 20 long years. even as Modi continued to clarify and elucidate his side of the story with sincerity and utmost grace.
ये दिगी राजा मध्य प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री थे जब 2002 में गुजरात में घटना घटी और गुजरात सरकार ने मध्य प्रदेश की सरकार को, महाराष्ट्र की सरकार को, राजस्थान की सरकार को तुरंत फैक्स चिट्ठी भेजी कि मुझे तत्काल पुलिस की मदद चाहिए, आपका पुलिस फोर्स मेरे यहां भेजिए। तीनों कांग्रेस रूल स्टेट, आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट 2002 फारूक साहब, और इन्होंने मना कर दिया। इन्होंने मना कर दिया। मित्रों, आज भी हमारे देश में कहीं कोई घटना घटती है, एक राज्य दूसरे राज्य में पुलिस फोर्स की मदद भेजता है, ये तीनों राज्य कांग्रेस ने मदद करने से इनकार कर दिया। मित्रों, मैं कभी इन विषयों में जाता नहीं हूं, लेकिन आज मुझे जब मेरे मुंह में उंगली डाल रहे हो तब मुझे पब्लिक में कहना पड़ा। ये मुंह में उंगली डालने वाली बात नहीं है। बात
A special investigation team was appointed to investigate Modi's involvement in the riots by the Supreme Court of India. He was subsequently grilled for hours together. A rare example in the history of Indian politics where a sitting chief minister presented himself for questioning. Modi appeared before the SIT without a lawyer. And as he emerged from the first round of questioning, he said,
मैंने पहले से ही कहा है कि भारत के संविधान, भारत का कानून सुप्रीम है और नागरिक के नाते एवं मुख्यमंत्री के नाते मैं भारत के संविधान से, भारत के कानून से बंधा हुआ हूं। कोई भी व्यक्ति कानून से ऊपर नहीं हो सकता है।
Even as the investigation was on, there continued a campaign of slander and defamation and scathing attacks, painting Modi responsible for riots with his political opponents, calling him the worst of names, from a mass murderer, a butcher, and a maut ka saudakar. There were concerted attempts to turn him into an international pariah. Such was the hatred that in 2013, 65 Indian MPs wrote to the US President to continue the US policy of visa denial to Modi. The Supreme Court appointed SIT submitted its closure report in 2012, giving a clean chit to Modi. The Gujarat High Court upheld the clean chit, dismissing Zakia Zafri's petition and upholding the magisterial court's verdict. But Zakia Zafri, widow of former Congress MP Ehsan Zafri, who was among killed in the Gulbarg Society massacre during the communal violence, moved the top court challenging the Gujarat High Court's order on SIT's findings. The constant targeting continued, and Modi by now knew that his opponents were determined to bury him politically.
कि 2002 के दंगों के बाद गुजरात की जो जनता है, इंक्लूडिंग मुस्लिम समुदाय, ये आपको बार बार इलेक्ट किया है उन्होंने, और ये रिपोर्ट कार्ड है। लेकिन इट वाज ओनली आफ्टर द एसआईटी रिपोर्ट कि आपने सत्यमेव जयते ट्वीट किया। इतने साल आपने साइलेंस क्यों रखा इस बारे में?
आप एक काम कीजिए, मैं चाहूं एएनआई मेरी इतनी मदद करे, और पर्सनली मैं एएनआई को रिक्वेस्ट करता हूं और कैमरा के सामने करता हूं, एएनआई एक काम करें। 2002 27 फरवरी शाम से मैंने कितनी प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस की, मैंने कितने टीवी इंटरव्यू दिए, मैंने कितने मीडिया, प्रिंट मीडिया को इंटरव्यू दिए, सारा कंपाइलेशन आप एएनआई की तरफ से देश को दो। हिंदुस्तान का कोई टॉप मोस्ट जर्नलिस्ट नहीं होगा जिसको मैंने इंटरव्यू नहीं दिया है। हिंदुस्तान का कोई टॉप मोस्ट अखबार नहीं होगा जिसको मैंने जवाब नहीं दिए। सबको जवाब दिए, सबको दिए हैं, हर सवाल का जवाब दिया है। 2002 से 2007 तक देता रहा। बाद में मैंने देखा कि ये कोई सत्य जानने की कोशिश नहीं है, ये कोई अननोन कोई दुनिया है जो कुछ न कुछ षड्यंत्र कर रही है। फिर मुझे लगा कि जितना कहना था कह चुका। जनता की अदालत में बिल्कुल सोने की तरह निकल करके बाहर आ गया।
सुप्रीम कोर्ट में मामला बिल्कुल सोने की तरह निखर करके बाहर आया, तो किसी भी व्यक्ति की कसौटी करने के लिए जितने अवेलेबल माध्यम है उन सबसे मैं निकल चुका हूं, सबसे निकल चुका हूं। और इसलिए मैं मानता हूं जिनकी गाड़ी अटकी है वो अपना, उनका तो रोजी रोटी हो गया, करते रहे, मुझे कोई इतराज नहीं है। लेकिन मुझे अब इसमें समय बर्बाद नहीं करना चाहिए। मुझे देश की जनता के लिए बहुत सारे काम करने हैं और इसलिए अब मैंने फोकस किया है कि यही काम मैं करता रहूं। प्लीज 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 ANI एंड द होल मीडिया ऑफ द वर्ल्ड, जस्ट मेरा 2002 से अब तक के सारी चीजों को स्टडी, सब यूट्यूब पर अवेलेबल है। क्यों आप खुद को भी गुमराह करते हो, क्यों देश को गुमराह कर रहे हो? मैं जवाबदेह हूं, आई एम अकाउंटेबल, और इस देश की जनता को मेरे पल पल का हिसाब मांगने का अधिकार है, मेरी हर सोच का जवाब मांगने का अधिकार है। आई एम कमिटेड टू डेमोक्रेसी।
2002 के दंगों की बात आती है और हमेशा आपसे ये अपेक्षा होती है और आप इसका कई बार, सैकड़ों बार जवाब दे चुके हैं कि मैं उसके बारे में उस वक्त बोल चुका हूं जो मुझे बोलना है 2002 में।
सब कुछ बोलता हूं, ऐसा नहीं, झूठ बोल रहे हैं आप, मेहरबानी कीजिए, ये भाषा ठीक नहीं है आपकी। मैं 2007 तक हर व्यक्ति को हर सवाल का हर समय जवाब दिया है। प्रिंट मीडिया में पढ़ा है, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक मीडिया पढ़ा है। आप लोग इसको रिसर्च कीजिए, आपको बुरा लगे भला लगे और आप चाहो कि मैं आपसे दब जाऊं तो होने वाला नहीं है। आप चाहो मुझे नोच लो, नहीं कर पाओगे, नहीं कर पाओगे। हां, 2007 में जब दोबारा यूपीए बना और उन्होंने षड्यंत्र करके कोर्ट कचहरियों में सुप्रीम कोर्ट तक मुझे घसीट के, फिर मुझे लगा कि अब मुझे कुछ नहीं बोलना चाहिए क्योंकि सुप्रीम कोर्ट को इन्फ्लुएंस नहीं होना चाहिए, सुप्रीम कोर्ट को स्वतंत्र करना चाहिए। आज तक हिंदुस्तान के किसी मुख्यमंत्री को 9 घंटे किसी पुलिस वाले ने ग्रिल किया है? ये मुख्यमंत्री है जिसको 9 घंटे तक पुलिस अफसरों ने ग्रिल किया था, सुप्रीम कोर्ट के कहने पर किया था, और सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने उसको वीडियो रिकॉर्डिंग करके देखा था। ये सब कसौटियों से निकला हूं और आगे भी हर कसौटी के लिए तैयार हूं।
Throughout the period that lasted more than a decade before Modi was elected the Prime Minister, the central government remained not only intensely hostile towards Modi, but labored heavily along with the media, some social activists, politicians, famous film personalities to link and tarnish Modi's image as the instigator behind the riots.
For example, this case of, what happened in Gujarat was really appalling. According to me, somebody like Modi there were Indians killed over there. There were innocent Indians who were killed. It's completely irrelevant whether they were Hindus or Muslims or Christians or Parsis or Sikhs. There were Indians being killed. And for which no one seems to have been punished so far. By a leader who's supposedly a leader, and he is responsible, he and his party, he and his people are responsible for the killings.
But neither his opponents nor the Special Investigation Team or the Supreme Court of India would come up with a shred of evidence. Admired and cherished throughout the nation and absorbed of all allegations by the highest constitutional court, Modi had a firm and categorical message for his enemies.
लेकिन झूठ और राजनीतिक इरादों को सरेंडर कोई करे तो मोदी होने वाला नहीं है।